What's going on, vets? Markel here, back with another video. So it's Father's Day tomorrow, in case I forget. And tonight there will not be a Saturday roll call tonight. I'm actually starting my vacation early. I forgot tomorrow was Father's Day, so I'm going to go ahead and take a vacation. So there will not be a Saturday roll call tonight. There will be a Tuesday roll call, and there will be an upcoming Saturday roll call. But I completely forgot Father's Day is tomorrow. So I'm going to take that time to go somewhere, enjoy myself with some friends. And, I may film a little bit of it. I may not. Depends on how I feel when I get there. But it's about a 3-hour trip. And I bought some compression socks, some new ones, a couple of pair for that trip, as well as an upcoming airline flight that I had to change the dates to make this trip. So there will not be a Saturday roll call. All right, let me answer a couple questions that were left behind. There was a question left behind by Sergio regarding the payments for Social Security, Medicare. Do you have to do that? Okay, he says he does everything with the VA. All his medical is taken care of with the VA. Is it mandatory that he has it? Okay. I can't tell you what you should or should not do. I can just explain to you what it is and what it isn't when it comes to if you have to get it or not. You do not have to pay for Medicare. That is a choice, okay? That is a choice. Now, I understand, like, you've seen the VA for everything. You've never talked to Social Security about nothing. Why are you losing this $100 or whatever dollars or $200 and whatever dollars going out every month to something you're not using? Now, some people are of the thought of, if an emergency situation comes up, I want to at least have this if the VA doesn't cover something for whatever reason, and that is their right to do so. If you are a retiree, it is mandatory that you have Medicaid, Medicare, because for your TRICARE. If you have TRICARE, it is mandatory that you pay for that every month once you start receiving Social Security. It's mandatory, okay? I'm abroad right now. I do not have it. And that is because I can't even use it over here. I'll be paying $200 and some a month for something I'm never going to use, right? Like with the VA, with me being abroad and the Foreign Medical Program, FMP. I use it occasionally, but mainly my local health insurance covers everything. So that's not something I even have to worry about or deal with because I pay for local and private health insurance here. So I don't even worry about that abroad. But as far as me paying, I stopped paying for it probably 10 years ago when I knew I was going to live abroad instead of living in the States. So I didn't worry about it. And if I have to go to the States, I would just go to the VA for whatever, being over 100%. So I never worried about it. But that was my personal choice. If I ever decided I wanted to go back to it, I would have to pay all of those years of back pay. That's the other thing now. If you decide to drop it and later on you decide, you know what, maybe I should have kept it, let me turn it back on, you got to catch up from the time you dropped it to where you are now. Now, the way they did it before, I don't know how it is now, because this was I did it back in 2015 or 16, one of them. And back then, when you cut it off, they paid you from the rears moving forward. So everything that you paid into it, they sent you a check for all that money, basically telling you that when you drop it, when you want to pick it back up, you then got to go all the way back and bring it back forward. So hopefully that's clear. It is not mandatory for you to take it. It is not. That is an option. Okay. Look at it as a backup plan. If for whatever reason, the VA is not covered, and I don't know a circumstance unless you're below 50% where the VA doesn't cover whatever your medical needs are. But if you are out somewhere and they will not accept your VA for whatever reason, and you have this Medicare, then hey, there you go. That's what your backup plan is for, okay? This is also the reason why the VA also asks if you have health insurance, whether it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, Medicaid, or whatever, because they're going to pay first, and then the VA is going to pay what's left over. If you don't have anything, right, the VA is just going to pay the whole bill. That's just how it works. That's how the whole medical system works with the Department of Veterans Affairs. Okay. Now, another question, and I'm going to go ahead and answer this one, right? Okay. You guys hear us talk a lot sometimes about the market. That's contradicting myself a lot. And sometimes you guys hear us talk often about the market, whether we're talking about somebody having some wins, some great information that I got from Barry in the past, some great information that I got from Mr. Wayne, or some other veterans who were on who talked about different stocks and different things you look into, right? And some of you guys are like, man, I ain't comfortable putting my money out there. I don't know if I should put my money out there. I'm comfortable where I am, but it seems like there's pressure on you to get into the market. There's no pressure on you. This is not high school. There's nobody trying to put peer pressure on you to put your money somewhere or park your money somewhere you don't want to. If you are perfectly content with what you get every month, you're happy, you're going about your way, you're not struggling, you're not looking to do something that's going to put you in any type of financial harm, then be you. There's no pressure on you. You know, I don't deal with the market all the time. I don't. I used to do day trading, okay? And you got hit and misses. Some days you can do really well. Some days you're going to lose your ass. The same with the market. You know, the market is basically gambling, is what you're doing. When people tell you to invest, unless you're investing in something that's safe, you know, money market, CDs, bonds, something like that, where you know your money's going to be there and you're not growing as fast as other people who the risk that they're willing to take with the market. Okay, but if you're curious about it and you know nothing and you don't know where to start, go start with your local bank. Talk to your local banker about investing. Your local banker usually have someone that they can refer you to, or they may try to start you out, you know, with a money market account, a CD, or something to that effect. I would just tell people like this, especially if you living abroad. Always park some money somewhere that you can get a hold of it quickly, like a money market account. A money market account is basically a savings account, but you can still get your hands on that with no penalty, right? It pays above a regular savings account, which a regular savings account, what you're looking at getting 0.025% or 0.02%, where a money market account, depending on how much you put in there, like with Navy Federal, you got at least $2,500 or above, it'll pay you like 1.75 or 1.8. So you'll make a lot more in a money market account than you would in a regular savings account. And you can still get your hands and pull that money out without there being any penalty, right? That's usually what I'll tell vets if they ask me, you know, where can I park my money to get a little bit return on it and not risk paying a penalty. Whereas a CD depends on how long that CD is, year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year. You go to take that money out early, there's a penalty associated with that, right? So you have to understand the difference, which is why I tell people, start with a banker, right? All this information floating around on YouTube from all these different people, and they saying, hey, these are 3 stocks I'm telling you to go put your money in right now. It's up to you to do research, okay? I can name stocks right now, and I don't really know much about them, but I'm going to take the time before I put my money in. I'm going to look at profit and loss. I'm going to look at the history. I'm going to look at the futures. There's a lot you should do instead of just, okay, I'm going to put my money here because such and such says so. No, that's not how I do it. Now, you're free to do whatever you want, but like I said earlier, never feel pressured to do something because you hear us talking about it, right? You got to understand something else, right? When I talk about extra incomes and things like that, those are things that were set up prior that I knew. Once I knew I was going to have to retire early, I started setting myself up to start having dividends come in from Verizon, AT&T, Pepsi, different places like that. Like every 3 months, I get a dividend check. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. It all depends on how much you have in that company as well. I'm saying all that, man, because again, some of you guys look at us online and think we're all the same, and we're not. You know, you got people like Steele and Barry who are still working while they're still receiving 100%. So they're in a much different category than a lot of other veterans, right? But you also don't deal with taxes. When you're in the market and you're dealing with stocks, bonds, real estate or whatever it may be, you're dealing with taxes as well, right? You got to file taxes every year. There's a lot of you vets out there, VA, Social Security, you're not making high enough on Social Security, so you file no taxes. You have no tax liability at all. Your VA is government free. Your Social Security is not high enough to be taxed. So you just kick back with a worry-free life. When people talking about taxes and worried about filing their tax returns, you're not worried about nothing because you're not filing any taxes. So be comfortable with where you are. If you're not interested in the market, then that's fine. You're not interested in growing, making more, or getting whatever, and you're comfortable where you are, be where you are. And I get it. And I'll say this last part because I don't want to make this too long. I get it. You'll see videos where people will talk about retirement, having money for retirement, retiring early, and having money for the long haul. Here's the difference. You already have money for the long haul. You already have your retirement money. You're living it right now. You've been living it as long as you've been on VA. Everything that they're talking about, they're talking to the average American who is not a disabled veteran, who is not on Social Security right now. That's who they're talking to. They're trying to set them up to be where most of you are. Even though you may only be getting $6,000, $7,000 a month, okay? You are getting a lot more than the average baby boomer that's out there right now. You're getting a lot more than the average millennial out there right now in your retirement, and they go out and work every day. That's because they didn't set themselves up. Now, it may be because of happenstance. You joined the military and you wasn't expecting this to happen. But a lot of times, if you're watching those videos where they're telling people, you got to have this, you got to have that toward retirement, remember, you already have it. They're trying to get where you are. You already got it. So don't trip on that. Okay? So hopefully this was able to help someone not feel pressured into getting into the market if that's not what you want to do. You may want to do something else. You may want to open up a store on Amazon or eBay. You may want to have your own little side hustle where you're financing someone else's dreams and you got a percentage of their company. Whatever it may be, you never have to feel pressured by myself or anyone to do something you don't want to do with your money. The only thing I'll tell anybody who's looking at getting into the market, whether you're talking about buying Bitcoins, dog coins, whatever it may be, do your research and make sure you're comfortable with whatever it is you're talking about parking your money into. I don't care if it's $50, $1,000, $100,000. Make sure you're comfortable with whatever it is and never feel pressured to do something because you hear somebody else having success with it. Yeah, they're having success, but there's also losses that comes with their success. It's like going to the casino. Sometimes you can get very lucky and win a lot. And sometimes you can go there and lose your ass. The market is the same way. So never forget that. If you're comfortable taking that money and putting it under your pillow and you ain't worried about it growing and you ain't worried about all this other stuff, you just want to have your $5,000, $10,000 ready when you need it, then you do that. Okay? But all right, guys, that's it for now. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching as always. And until the next time, guys, I'm out of here.